How sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see.
On behalf of Mary Jo's family, we thank you for being here today to celebrate the life and legacy of a woman we are grateful, honored, and proud to celebrate. A remarkable mother, grandmother, great-grandmother, sister, aunt, and friend to so many. They say that to leave a legacy is to leave a long-lasting impact on the world around you, not to live forever, but to create something that will. As we reflect and celebrate the forever young soul and elegant woman that Mary Jo Hooker was, it isn't hard to find stories of kindness, humor, devotion, resilience, and strength. It was evident to all that faith, family, and friends were her most treasured possessions. It isn't often that you would catch Mary Jo without a smile on her face. She was timelessly beautiful and not in the false way you see today. In a way, because her life had been so thoroughly and beautifully lived, shown in every wrinkle and furrow on her face. Perhaps the most beautiful thing about her was that she lived life by design and not default, yet also learned to accept the twists and turns as they came. Life wasn't always easy, but she worked hard, fearlessly held on to her beliefs, loved her family with all she had, resting on those values each night and waking with purpose each day. We would like to highlight the traits and values she reflected so freely into this world. She saw each day for what it was, a gift. Perhaps a lesson acquired through childhood, a younger of 9 siblings, born at the tail end of the Great Depression. There wasn't much to go around. She reflected on how her mother could walk into a bare pantry and come out with supper, rejoicing to her children that she had a special meal. Every shoe, clothing, or simple meal was something she learned to be grateful for. She truly believed that every day, normal days, were special. She wasn't the type to wait to use the good dishes, wear the nice clothes, or eat the cake. It isn't hard to think back on our days with her and find the good ones. They were all good ones. She made sure of that. We would joke with her, quipping that she didn't understand the meaning of special, because whether meeting for a picnic, hauling horses, coming for the afternoon, or a major holiday, there would be special meal of some kind for the special day. For any extra special holiday, there was one thing you could be sure of. She was going to spend days, maybe even weeks, creating a beautiful, inviting home. She would intentionally bring us into her kitchen, inviting us to stretch the taffy or add a dump of an ingredient. It was more than sweet treats that we were making, but a lifetime of sweet memories that we will cling to. She was fortunate to know what was truly special, and that it was family wrapped around a table. Lunch next to a creek, the feeling of dancing to a good song, waking up before the sun, seeing mountain splendor atop a good horse, reeling in a fish, or harvesting your first elk at 83. The little things didn't get past her. For many years, she was a devoted wife who took so much pride in her husband and their way of life. She saw the value in hard work and realized, when done together, the benefits of cowboying. Well, words don't suffice. It was a life well lived and even harder earned. It was the grit in their gut and the try in their soul that bonded them to each other. She acknowledged the difficulties of ranching in truly wild country, but how being Johnny's wife on the ranch was the time of her life. Along with being a devoted wife, being a mother and grandmother became the core of her identity. The constant, loving presence of a dedicated mother and grandmother profoundly shapes a person. From our grandparents, we learn where we came from, we learn our history, and we learn who we are. She held these titles with reverence and did her best to fulfill the roles wholeheartedly. She made a habit of listening earnestly to each of us, no matter our ages. She fed us generously with homemade biscuits, cakes, soups, and bean pies that no one else can quite manage to duplicate. She never missed an opportunity to tell us we were loved and that she was so proud of us. She delighted in our company in a way that made us feel watered and deeply rooted anytime she was around. As the years passed on, her love and constant presence in her children's lives would never waver. This was evident through the generations making time to go camping in her 80s, cut down Christmas trees, find the best swimming holes, and demand to be the one to make the babies their first solid food. She chose to be an integral part of our lives. She chose to be there for all the big things, little things, ordinary and not so wonderful things, and call them all special along the way. She often reflected on how grateful she was to have 8 siblings. She would proudly boast about her brothers and say how her mama taught them all to stay close, and how many years and miles in between couldn't lessen their bond. She valued the many years they spent raising their families together and gathering for reunions. She was very delighted with her siblings. They all watched out for her, and she for them. They took care of each other with a fondness that was evident by all. To know her was to love her, and oh, how she had so many that loved her, perhaps because of her genuine character and selflessness towards others, or the fact that she often left others better than she found them. Sometimes it was her contagious smile, warm hug, or a home-cooked meal that drew them in. Going to town was never a quick endeavor, because you were sure to run into at least a few people that knew her, each wanting to stop and catch a moment of her sunshine and her smile. We joked that she was the busiest retired lady in town. She was sure to be at any dance within 100 miles, enjoyed gathering with friends to ride horses, attended Dutch oven cook-offs, rodeos, or volunteer at any community service project. If there was someone to feed, you could catch her rising hours before the sun, preparing something in her kitchen with her own 2 hands. Cooking was an expression of love for her, and there was hardly a day she wasn't trying to feed somebody. She was passionate about keeping our bellies full and our pantries stocked, with homemade canned jars of peaches, jams, jalapenos, pickles, and whatever else she could gather. She always believed that homemade was better.
We'll get these done in no time, guys.
And the reward of someone enjoying her meal was worth whatever time and effort it took to prepare.
How is it, guys?
Good.
How is it, Taya?
Right.
Want me to do you? I'll grab and you're sitting. You do you.
Get a plate, man.
Granny, this is delicious.
Is it?
Granny, you still got a whole.
Not all can say that they had their first job before their first day of school, but she recounted the scrubbing of mud from bricks as a young child as one of her favorite jobs. That's the kind of woman she was, an eternal optimist. She held fast to the belief that God was still in charge and that tomorrow would be a better day. It was hard to know if she was ever hurt or in pain, because her classic answer was, "I'm doing better all the time," even when she was walking around on a broken hip. If you were around her very long, you probably had a side stitch or two from laughing with her due to her ability to find the humor in most things. Like the time she made a cherry pie, and halfway through we started asking her if it was a new recipe. Everyone admitted it tasted a little hot. Later, she discovered with her glasses on that she had dusted the pie with paprika. We never quit asking if she was making a hot pie or regular pie after that one.
What kind of biscuits? They're Denver biscuits. What's the secret ingredient? Oh, the secret ingredient is baking soda.
She had more energy and interest than anyone I've ever known. She never let age or life keep her from finding a new hobby or completely new career. The list of things she constantly pursued, from basket weaving, flying airplanes, cake decorating, flower arranging, cheese making, to figuring out text messages, Facebook, and FaceTime chats. She was never one to be found idling. She held firmly to her biblical views of right and wrong, and she wasn't ashamed to talk about it. Her heart ached for the moral decline of this country she so loved. She couldn't comprehend how people could so defiantly reject God, reject morality, and reject the principles on which our nation was founded. In her mind, truth was absolute, unchanged by the passing trends and unfazed by passing time. She took seriously her role as a citizen of this great country. She was part of a generation who is aware of the high cost of our freedom, having had many loved ones serve to protect it.
One thing you could count on was her. She was up for anything and everything. Work, play, sweating, relaxing. If you asked her, she would be there. A favorite family memory was tricking her into thinking she was going to accompany me on a work trip. Since she was game for just about anything, when I asked if she wanted to go to a conference in Houston for a week, she said sure. The best surprise of her life came when we sent her and Bonner out for ice, and she came back to a luau and a surprise that we were taking her not to Houston, but to Maui. Along one of our dirt road drives, she admitted to me she had never been to Hawaii and still dreamed of going.
There's a little something that we need to tell you. Something we have to secret about you. See, Houston has a great Christmas. But not if you're eating for goodness sake, So with that, and with Potter, we're having much more fun to wander. Somewhere where work means really getting out of bed, where the sun sits hot in the twilight, and your toes can sink deep into soft sandy beaches, sip drinks made of coconut and peaches. We know it sounds like a dream, or a great big old scheme, but grab your shorts, sunglasses, and shoes, 'cause in only 2 weeks, then Maui awaits you. Oh my God. I need you. Oh my God. Did you guess? No. You didn't have an idea? No. There's no Houston, guys. That's why we're not talking about it.
Oh my gosh. Well, aren't y'all the nicest bunch of people? Oh gosh.
William Marjosh from William Marr.
Oh my God. I wonder why you asked me to go with you. Oh, we were running around like psychos trying to get everything ready.
the bamboo creaking.
Someday you wish upon a star, wake up where the clouds are far behind. Be where trouble melts like lemon drops, high above the chimney top. That's where.
The cherry.
Cherry on top of the whole trip. The best part.
Everything
A good
was
ending.
Wonderful. I love the limit so much.
Yeah.
And that hotel is so beautiful.
It was, huh?
Yeah, that was cool. Super
I've
cool.
never seen anything like that in my life.
No?
No, they don't have that in Pecos.
Not even on the
Just oil
sequin
wells.
houses, Granny? Those sequin houses didn't come close?
It will forever be a favorite memory of ours getting to take her to roll around in the sand, waves, and dance with cute Hawaiian boys for her 80th birthday. The loss of our wonderful Granny is truly immeasurable, but so is the love that she leaves behind. Thank you so much for coming to celebrate her with us.
Dreams that you dare to